Hey guys, before we jump into today's video, quick announcement. We've got a new merch item, a t-shirt and a hat, atlamerch.com. Personally, it's my favorite one we've done yet, especially with the performance driven. So that's it. Let's jump into today's video, man. Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA. Today we're back here at the Marconi Automotive Museum down in Orange County, and it is a freak show every time I come here. That has never, ever gone away. This is my friend John Marconi. John is part of the family that created the Marconi Museum. I was saying it to Vincent, actually, your son. He's talking to me, and I the whole time I catch myself looking around. It's hard to focus on anything but how Senna's car's hanging on the wall. You know, there's a Pagani off in the background here. There's so much to see. By the way, you guys, I highly recommend every dollar that comes in here gets donated to do cool things for kids. Bottom line, Marconi Automotive Museum, badass. So this is a fun one, dude, because these two cars, and you guys, we're gonna focus on the red one today, but there's a reason for two cars being here. So why don't you give a bit of the backstory of why the yellow Bondurant car and how it gave birth to this?
Transition, yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Oh, by the way, welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, bud. It's good to see you again. Bob and Pat Bondurant are very close. They're like family. I was there when Bob started the school. So the big picture is this was Monique's Bondurant race driving school car. 02, obviously it's a C6. And what happened was I said, Pat and Bob, when you're done with the school, done with the car, I'd like to buy the car because it's a commemorative deal. It's a piece of you guys.
Yeah.
And it's a piece of Monique and her history.
Yeah.
So we bought the car, dialed it all in, and did a lot of work to it. You can imagine it was a school car, so it had a lot of stuff that needed to be fixed.
I'm sure it's been beat on.
So what we did as a family, Monique and Vincent and I and Colton, we just made a decision, and Michelle, we're going to go build a track car because all the kids raced. And we all raced. I'm retired from racing, since I was 6, and I'm 66 now.
Yeah.
So what we did is we dialed in the car and built a race car. What we did to the car is all stuff that could be repaired. We all decided that, look, we don't want to cut this car up. It means too much for the family, and it means too much to Bob and Pat. And we lost Bob this last year. He finally passed away. And he's the first American that won Daytona, Sebring, and Le Mans, and he's history in that blue striped car behind us.
Legendary driver.
What do? Do you hack this car up? No, you don't. You don't cut it up. That's where the transition happened here.
I'm looking forward to talking about this. I mean, for one, it's funny, as painted up as that one is, this one looks dramatically more radical, the big splitter out here, the wing. So let's talk about, what have you built here?
There was a key decision making on this car. We were out there at Willow with the family. We were doing it, buzzing through and having a good time on a track day. And don't get me wrong, it's not a play car, it's serious.
Yeah. What
happened is a guy in a C7, he came out of the pits, cold tires, had never taken a lap at Willow, pushed that magic button. That magic button shuts on all the traction control, still a track, everything, ABS off.
Yeah.
He goes out there, turns the corner, loses it. Instead of feathering it while he's moving out and just keeping it straight, he bails, over-rotates, spins back around and goes off one backwards, hits the corner, flips it, flips again, and flips again. The thing with this car is you've got this halo back here, and this halo, it's got 2 roll bars in it. Basically what they are is 1.5 inch steel tube, and they're stitched together. Well, what happened is the first hit pushed this thing down almost at a 45-degree angle. Then it hit again, and it hit again, it flattened it right to the sill plate.
So proving what you were saying before, in order to make this a true track car, you got to cage the car, you got to cut it up. You don't want to do that with this car.
No.
That inspires you to do this, seeing what happens when you put this thing on its top, right?
Yeah, nothing scares me but a bad accident due to lack of proper equipment and fire. And that's what you'll see on this car, our fear. And that's a race car driver's greatest fear.
So walk us through what all you've done to the car.
Okay. LS3, that has a 7 in it, which is the Z06 comes with. The rumor has it with the car, and this is, like I said, this is a rumor, that a guy owned it and he put a blower on it. What happened is he didn't tune it correctly, and he ended up putting a rod to the side of the block. It was detonating pretty heavily. Mike from Redline took a look and salvaged as much as he could, and he built the motor. So that's where the major expense was in this car.
What does this make power-wise?
6.5, it makes 656 at the crank.
Yeah.
So, you're looking at 575.
But you're also in a car that weighs, what, 3,200 pounds? I mean, you guys have caged it.
Yeah, this has aluminum frame, so it's immediately 300 pounds lighter. So then we gutted the interior pseudo. We didn't tear it all apart. I wanted to make it so it looked nice. And
Yeah.
so we took a lot of the carpet in the back. So what we ended up doing is taking all the racing suspension we took off of this car and we moved it onto this. And the unique part about GM, and I don't know whether they had this in a plan, these are carbon composite springs that have been in there since the 60s. It's got a leaf spring sitting sideways, transverse mounted. You're going, what kind of antiquated technology is that? But Chevrolet managed to do a really nice job with it. They put a big clevis over the top. It incorporates the shock. And then on top of the shock is the bump rubber. So they got this big bump rubber perch that's sitting right in here on both sides and on the back. You put Penske double adjustables in the shock tower perches, and guess what you got? You got a car with coil over suspension, fully adjustable.
Very cool.
Ride height, corner weights, all the stuff you can do, anything you want, and rebounding, compression, dampening, which is critical when you're setting up a race car.
What's your transmission in the car?
It's got the standard transmission. It had the transmission within it. It had 25,000 miles on the car, and it grenaded the motor.
Yeah.
But it's amazing that you can put about 1,100 horsepower through these transmissions, the transaxle assembly, and they hold it. So it's phenomenal transmission.
Yeah.
So we put a short shift in this.
Yeah.
We then put the half cage in it because I didn't want to go upside down and have a problem.
Sure.
As you can see by everybody thinks it's a nitrous bottle in the back. It's got 9 spigots on it, and that's a fire bottle.
It's cool how you guys brought the cage all the way back here.
We mounted up the adjustables. We put the big sway bar. It's got an inch and I think it's a 2-inch bar in the front, hollow, and it's got a solid 1.25 inches in the back. And the interesting thing about the springs, the stock Z06 comes with about 250, 300 pound springs in the front and 200 pound springs in the back. We have 600 pound springs in the front, and we have 550 pound springs in the back. And the reason is you want to level the car. Your critical mass is leveling that car in heavy corners. And why? Because that tire remains straight. If you get into the corner like Willow Springs, other than 2 turns, are all right-handers. You're loading the left-hand side of that car. So what happens is you want a lot of camber in those left-hand wheels, because when that tire starts to roll under, the suspension starts to push. Now you have flat, unified all the way across your contact point. So, and then on the right-hand side, you put, instead of 1.5 degrees, you put 1 degree, because the right-hand side is always on the trailing side of the car when you're loading it. So if you load it too far, you're constantly wearing the inside. But if you stand it up, you're wearing the tire all the way across.
You guys can see how he lost me at this point, right?
The people who are watching this,
there's somebody right now
going,
that's
I understand what that guy's saying.
Totally,
but
totally.
This is all race
So
terminology.
funny. Me being just the enthusiast guy, I see stuff like I love the wheel tire setup on here. That's not what was on this car.
No. What happened is the cars usually came with a 19 and a 20. This is 1818s. So that's 1811s, this is 1813s. So what happens
that's what allows for you to put the big sidewall on both the front
and rear. They're critical because this has ZR1 brakes on it. You can see it's got a 16.5-inch carbon ceramic. There's 6 pistons, front and rear.
Wow.
So when we take the car for a drive, you'll understand it. You get to the end of the street and you're gonna go, Marconi, we're gonna die. And I said, no, you're just gonna hit the brakes. And then when you drive it today, you're gonna understand, whoa, okay. And I'm gonna tell you, just stand on the thing and mash the brakes. And what you'll do, you'll get an idea.
Does it have ABS?
It has. The ABS has been tuned out of it inside for the traction control, for the yaw sensor or StabiliTrak, and for the ABS. They're all hooked together. What happens is there's a big bus that runs down the front under the steering column. You take that bus and you disconnect it, and that negates everything. Now everything's shut off. Now your dash lights up like red lights, but you ignore all that stuff.
So this car has no assists whatsoever.
No assist. You got nothing.
You have nothing? I have nothing!
I'm curious about some of the whole aero package, because it's pretty radical, dude. We talked a little bit about the wing, but this is almost like heading into the realm of Time Attack.
We've got the side skirts on it, and then we've got this. Ryan at C6 Carbon built this for us. This was kind of the prototype that he did for it. We took it and built all the clevises on the front, and then this unit is hollow. So what we did is we filled it, we backfilled it with resin in here to make it solid right here where we bolted in. And then we took these cat whiskers and we moved them. Yeah, we moved them up and bolted them to the radiator core support. So you see the little holes in them. You put a drill bit through them so you can tighten up the bolts, the nuts on both sides.
Got it.
There's jam nuts. And then Ryan, what he did is I said, look, I need these canards on here. I want to play with the canards and play with the aerodynamics.
Yeah.
So what we did is we put the canards on it. He 3D printed them for me and shot them up here. He hasn't got the carbon ones done yet. These are the prototypes.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And they're on with plastic rivets, so all you do is get underneath, you nip them off, and then put a new rivet in. Right now, we tried this out. We like it. It works at Willow. The car is normally capable of, right now with the motor, probably 212 miles an hour. okay, when it's arrowed out.
Holy crap.
Now, as soon as you hang all the ground effects on it, the car will do about 175, 180, because you're taking all this ground effects and you're stuffing this car into the ground.
Sure.
But it goes around the corner like a go-kart.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
better than a go-kart.
I'll bet.
Bruce Myers, you know him?
Of course.
Bruce has been a friend of mine for a long time, but Bruce has something very interesting.
Amazing.
He has the original trifecta car that won
I know.
Daytona, Sebring, and Le
No, I
Mans.
know.
The one Johnny O'Connell drive. I raced with Indy Lights with Johnny O'Connell. So I asked him, I gave Bruce a call. I said, hey, can you take some measurements for me? I wanted to know where he put the wing. And this is the identical, the same wing and everything else that car uses. It's a 72-inch wing across. Now, the distance between the under part of the wing and the top of the car, they had it at 8 inches, 8.5 inches. So I put it at 9 inches. But what I did with the Aero, I wanted to get the back open. With the rules and regulations, you can't have the back of any wing, you can't protrude it any further than the back of the car.
Yeah.
But I moved it back because your fulcrum point is here at the axle. So you talk about leverage. The further back you get the wing, the less wing you have to apply to get the same amount of downforce because you're further away from your fulcrum point, which is the axle. So the further you get it back, the more downforce you make with the less amount of wing. And because we're not going for any SCCA championship, we're building a car that works, that you can go out track day and have a great time.
This is a track day, have fun car. That's why you're not worried about the rules.
And frankly, to me, the C6 is the most beautiful of all the Corvettes, other than the early Corvettes, the 62.3. The front section has the beauty of the Dino, the Ferrari. It's got that unique look. The problem is with Chevrolet, they cut the butt off this thing and they made this big old rump on this thing. So what we did is we moved the wing back. If you stand back and look at the car,
lengthens the car a little bit.
It lengthens the car and
funny
makes
how
the
it
car
does
look better.
that, yeah.
Let's go for
Let's go take her for a ride.
One thing we left out in the interview, you guys, how the exhaust on here is stock Z06 exhaust minus cats.
We got 3-inch all the way back, and the reason we did that and left the buffers on is when you're coming out of the kink at Laguna Seca Raceway, they got a dB meter there. And the problem is with a dB meter, you get over a certain decibel and just take you off the track. We just left the buffers on, and then we don't detract too much attention on the audio portion.
Like I was saying to you guys, when the car was just sitting there idling, it sounds, holy shit, John, holy shit, John. Jesus.
We didn't do anything
You're
yet.
not going to tell me ahead of time that you're about to do that?
You're kidding me. Why would I tell you ahead of time? That way it wouldn't be surprised.
Holy crap. God dang, that's cold tires.
That's nothing.
Well, that just gave me a sense right there, seriously.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's really funny. We were talking about it, race car driving seat time, right? When you've done just thousands of miles on the track, your viewpoint of what's fast, and call it the average enthusiast guy like me, my view of what's fast, very different worlds. Holy shit, John. Holy crap. Jesus. Oh my God. Holy Jesus. Oh shit. Oh shit.
See, Sean, a little bit about differentials. You know, I know you know a lot about differentials and how differentials work and everything else. With a differential, how it works is on your tip in, and you got a posi, it grabs that clutch pack or that gear pack and it extends it to both wheels. The problem is, it's neat when you're running in a straight line or a drag car, but when you're in a road race car, you go around a 90-degree corner at 45, 50 miles an hour like we're doing, you tip into that throttle, it locks up the diff. So the right wheel and the left wheel are spinning the same speed in the back. So it's immediately tearing the tires loose. One's trying to go one speed around the corner, the other's trying to go the other.
Right.
But if you go into a corner and you're off the throttle or neutral throttle where you're not engaging that differential to pack up that posi, you'll find that the car goes around the corner beautifully and the ass end doesn't want to step out. You ready, Sean?
I don't know. Oh shit. Oh god. Holy crap. God.
Got him.
Oh, there goes the radio. Jesus. God.
That gets the pucker factor up a little bit.
You got me paying attention over here.
But did you feel in any way, shape, or form that the car was getting out from under us?
No.
Or was starting to move at all?
No,
It absolutely felt dead planted.
No, this,
I remember at about 60 miles an hour, well, actually about 45 miles an hour up is where all the aerodynamics start to take effect.
Right.
So consequently,
So
what
none
happens?
of this is even playing in right now. You're not going fast enough to get any aero in
right
play.
now, the car is generating probably 80 to 150 pounds of downforce in that rear wing right now. At speed at 165, 70 miles an hour, that wing is generating 300 to 400 pounds of downforce.
Wow, dude.
And the front end is doing about the same. So it just takes it and plants it on that contact patch all the way around on all four tires.
Yeah.
You're planted.
Oh, God.
Now here's where the ground effects really take effect.
Jesus, dude.
Feel the car pushing down?
Whoa. Jeez. You were cooking, dude. I just looked over at your Speedo and,
You don't want to talk about it.
no, my friend Jeremy from Roadster Shop says many miles per hour.
Tires are probably spinning at what? Many miles an hour, and it's still going
many
pretty sweet.
miles an hour. Come up on the bumper.
All right, tell them to hold steady. I trust your driver.
Oh God. Okay. Oh, you're freaking me out. Jesus.
We're okay. He's a driver.
Holy cow.
I have his
If you guys
car.
haven't figured it out yet, John's trying to see what will it take to freak me out, which was turn 1, by the way. Car hits hard, dude.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I've been in the overpowered cars. This car hits really nice. It's like, it's got all the juice in the world.
You know the nice part about it? You can feel the car and it's in control. It's not like, oh my God, what am I going to do next?
Yeah, you're a hell of a driver, dude.
It's all the car.
You're about to see how quiet and mellow of a driver I am.
That's okay.
Okay, so we pull a U-turn then, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I want you to do me a favor though.
Yeah.
Before you hit the U-turn, go down here, get it up to top gear in second gear, and then cram on the brakes. Just go up first gear.
What do you mean cram on the brakes?
Cram on the brakes as hard as you can pedal. Second gear. Keep going, second gear, harder, harder, harder. Now, brakes.
Holy Jesus.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh, and that's with no ABS.
So it's about
Okay.
10% ABS we put in this. We backed the computer system out and detuned it or deprogrammed it, but not deprogrammed it, backed them off. So you
Okay.
get about 5 to 7% ABS towards the end. That's it.
Got it. Boy, that's a serious stop.
Now you could do that at 140 miles an hour. I mean, you could literally do that at $140 miles an hour, and it will come to a stop like you can't believe.
Wow.
How you like that shifter?
God, I love them.
That bitch?
Just right away.
I mean,
I'm in
look
love
where you
with how
are.
this
Are you
car
relaxed?
drives.
Your arm is laying here. You're just right
No,
where
this is just bitching.
Isn't that neat?
This is so slick. That's the power range I personally love, where it's purposeful, usable power.
Yeah. The
You know
nice
what I
part
mean?
about it is the better your suspension, the more usable the power is.
For sure. God. Wow, this car, you really can tell how planted on the ground it is.
Yeah. Is it a stiff car? Yes, it's supposed to be.
It is, but
Everything
it's not.
gets-
But
everything
we just rode on bumpy roads and everything, and nothing about this was bothering
You
me.
get up above 100, 120, 140, 150 miles an hour, everything gets softer very fast.
Does it?
So that's why you want a stiff suspension to keep the car off the ground and out of the bump
to
rubbers.
deal with it when you
To
get
deal
up
with the ground
into
effects.
speed. Well, I love the pedals are so easy to do.
Is that pretty cool or what?
Blip, you know? I mean, I'm half on the brake and just a little blip like that for a downshift.
I set those
So
pedals
easy.
up. Chris added the pedals. He widened them and then put the throttle and the brake closer by a ½ inch. So what
Wow.
happens is you can heel and toe it a lot easier. And then he put the grip
Super
pedals on it,
easy.
so it makes it real simple.
Oh my God, this car's
Pretty cool, huh?
so easy to drive.
I knew you'd have a blast.
Holy cow. What you just did is where people get in trouble is the car starts to come loose and they let off.
What's the first? Exactly. But I know what the car is going to do. The car is very stable. It'll tell you exactly what it wants always.
Yeah. You just got to have the skill set to know how to listen.
Yeah.
We didn't talk tires, by the way. 345 rear, 315 front, and they're slicks. So they're picking up everything. They're also making life super sticky goodness. Man, that makes a gnarly pop when you shift at the top of it. Oh, the braking's so crazy on this thing. What it is, it just makes me smile. I'm
It does.
like a little kid with it. I'm not kidding. Holy cow. This car gets up to many miles an hour very quickly.
It really does.
Yeah, I can tell you enjoy driving this car, don't you?
Immensely.
Yeah.
It's something you've created, you know, and you've sorted it out because being obsessive compulsive, everything's got to be just right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it does exactly that.
Well, and it's built to do what you want it to do. That's the thing. And for, like, gotta admit, kind of crazy how small amount of money you have in this car.
Yeah. 52,000. And it's more than that. It's probably about 3,000 more because the LS motor, the LS7 you couldn't get.
It really does eat the bumps. There's a lot of bumps I see on the road where I'm used to other cars where the suspension's not dialed, so you get not enough compression and too much rebound, and you get a lot of hopping around on the road, you know?
Yeah, they're not set up properly.
No,
that's the problem.
Not at all.
Guys get in the cars, you put big motors in them, and they step it to the floor and said, okay, I'm gonna haul ass now. That's not the way it's done.
I just enjoy being in cars that are power to weight is balanced. It's not overpowered. I don't like overpowered cars. They scare me personally. And I don't like cars that don't handle. I mean, simple enough, you know. I like cars that handle well, where you can go for an enjoyable, fun canyon drive in 6/10s, and you have a great time.
Have a great time.
You're not on the edge of your seat.
That's this car. You'll go up to Willow. You'll be able to drive at your 8/10 and be a very comfortable place.
I'm sure.
And that's what the car is designed for.
That was just a great time, man. Shooting with John is always a good time. Being here at the Marconi Museum is always a treat. And getting to ride with John in this car, I mean, you got a car that's properly set up to be driven with a guy that really knows how to drive it. So that was just an extraordinary experience. Now, if you might have noticed, we've been gone for a couple of weeks. We're back. So I'm asking you going forward here, if you like what we do, like the video, subscribe, comment, share the video, and please check out atlamerch.com. If you haven't gotten any of the Autotopia LA merch, we've got some really cool stuff. So head over atlamerch.com and check it out. And as always, you guys, a massive thanks for being here, watching, and supporting us as we continue to grow. Happy New Year to you guys, and I will see you in the next one. All right, man, later.